Evening, Celtics Nation. Sorry for the delay. This is CB on the Seas. Um, Talking about last night's game against the Bulls, the blowout. Let's see what the score was. It was 111-82. They were up by as much as 30, but it was a pretty uneventful game. It was a nice game to get under their belts after that rough road trip. Okay, so my pull-up three-pointer. Um, the next games are the ones that are really going to be a good test for where they are right now. They're playing at home. They're hosting the Raptors, and then that's Friday night. And then the next night, Saturday, they're hosting the Jazz. They lost to both of these teams so far this season, and they're very good teams. And that's what I'm really looking forward to are these games Friday and Saturday night at home. And if we can play well and don't even need to win the games, but play well, it'll be a really good barometer and test for how well they bounce back after this sort of middling start to the season. My second point, Stevens, again last night in the game against the Bulls, they went down 12-4, and I was like, oh no, not again. They've had these horrible starts all these games, especially those four games on the road. And so he quickly inserted Baines and Smart, and the Bulls' lead evaporated, and then we sort of got a lead, and then we sort of stretched it out and ran away with the game the rest of the way, and he ended up emptying the bench in the third quarter. Both Hoiberg and Stevens did that. It was sort of a surrender by Hoiberg, and then Stevens did the same thing, emptied everybody got to play. Everybody scored a point. That was nice. So I thought that was an interesting move by Stevens. Smart, I'm going to bring him up later, but he's an important player for us. So the third point in my pull-up three-pointer is I was looking at some player advanced statistics today because I had such a head start on preparing for this show. And I was looking at player combinations on Pro Basketball Reference, and they rate different player combinations over a bunch of statistics per 100% possessions. And I was looking at the two-player combinations, and the top four two-player combinations for the Celtics so far this season in terms of net points. That means they score the amount of points they score difference than their opponents. The top four two-player combinations, each of those contained a common player, and that common player was Marcus Smart. So that got my attention. He should be playing a lot more. You look at the minutes last night, and the minutes are sort of mixed up because it was a blowout. He only played, I think it was 18 minutes. Yeah, he played 18 minutes. That's fine, but Toronto and Utah will not be blowouts, and there won't be any garbage time, and it's going to be interesting to see if he plays as much as I think he should, and if Stevens plays him enough. So the top three stars for the game last night, number 3 star was Semi. I think his name is pronounced Shemi. Everybody says Semi, but I think it's Shemi. So Shemi, he had a nice game. He had 21 minutes. I think he had the highest plus-minus, second highest plus-minus. He was 23. Hayward was 24. Shows how much plus-minus counts, especially in blowouts. But he was perfect from the floor. He had a couple of rebounds. He definitely looked active. Every time he plays, you can always tell that he's desperate to make a good impression, and sometimes that gets him into trouble, but I like the way he played last night. Al is my second star of the game. He had a nice bounce-back game after a rough road trip. He was cold from the three-point line all road trip, and especially Portland. He missed all these threes off the front rim. It was really annoying. But he was perfect from 3. He was 2 for 2, and he was 4 for 6 total. He only played 20 minutes. That was another sign of the blowout. He had some nice rest. And number one star was Kyrie. He was awesome. He's really the bell cow for us so far. He's really bringing the energy, and he's pushing everybody. You can tell he's holding everybody to a very high standard, and last night was no exception. He's been very, very good still. He was 6 for 8, from the floor. Only took 1 3, made it. 4 for 4 from the line, so his field goal percentage, his effective field goal percentage was very high. And he, only played 27 minutes, so he got nice rest. Got to rest a few minutes. So the bottom 3 stains on the game. 3 was Levine. Last night was the first night where he didn't score 20 points. I think he was he was averaging 20 points a game. I guess it was. I think it was the first game he didn't score 20. He only had 10. Second stand on the game was T. Rose. He had a rough game. He played a lot of garbage time minutes, though, so I think that kind of mitigated his poor performance. He was only 5 for 15 from the floor and 0 for 5 from the arc. Number one stain on the game, though, I'm reserving for Jabari Parker. I never liked this guy. I remember him from the playoff series last year when he was playing for the Bucks. He was fat and lazy and terrible on D. He's sort of an emblem of a NBA player, bygone era of NBA players, all offensive, looking for my shot, pounding the ball into the ground, ISO game, settling for long 2-pointers. Carmelo is sort of, a relic of that period, but he obviously is at, his career's over. He's totally washed. But Parker is sort of a throwback to that era, which no one is really asking for. So there are a lot of players like him from the 80s and the 90s. Another mark of these type of players is they play no defense. They're not interested in that. So Parker showed me a lot of that last night too. He gets very excited for dunking the ball when his team was down by a lot of points. Anyway, so I enjoy hate watching him, and he didn't disappoint last night. So my closeout is a website, and you all know about it. It's called Craigslist. It's basically the humongous want ads or recycler. I've been buying a lot of stuff on Craigslist lately. I bought my new favorite toy is this incredible road bicycle. It's a Specialized Roubaix from 2013. I got a very good deal on it. I'm not going to say how good a deal it was because maybe the guy I bought it from is watching, but it was a great bike. I got a great deal. And at least with bicycles, it's a buyer's market. There's a lot of inventory out there. So my closeout is Craigslist in general, but specifically buying a road bike on Craigslist. That's the way to go. Don't buy new, buy used on Craigslist. So I will see you guys tomorrow night after the Raptors game. Raptors, they've lost 2 in a row. Those are the second and third loss of the season. So if you subscribe to Bounce Back, or if you subscribe to the bounce theory, definitely it'll be a tough game tomorrow. They're going to be looking to bounce back. They're not going to want to lose 3 in a row. And Utah is interesting. They're 7-7. They looked a lot better than a 7-7 team, and they're in the middle of a long road trip. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, stay warm out there, Bostonians, and careful. There's a lot of snow and ice on the road out there. I was out running in the snow. It was pretty tricky. Later.